Today we're ranking countries. No, we're not be ranking countries based off, oh, I don't like this country or this is my opinion on this country. No, today we'll be ranking countries based off their geography. So which countries have the worst geography? You know, countries with the absolutely most abysmal geography. We quickly on the X and it won't do anything. Okay. As well, so FTL is reserved for what's the countries like usually is often mentioned on lists like these. Well, where's one? Okay, okay. Yeah, there's just so many flags here. So country of the worst, like, what country comes to mind with bad geography? Think about a country like Haiti. Um, because geography is, oh yeah, Poland. Poland's one. Poland or Mongolia. We'll get to those countries in a moment. We'll start with the A countries. So first is Andorra. Obviously, it's efforts. It might go say between two big countries. Then I think this is the United Arab Emirates. Okay, it's mostly just desert, and until oil was found in the country, it was a very poor country. It was conquered very easily. So I'll put them in detail. Afghanistan, well, mountains, mountains are pretty good in geography as well, but Afghanistan also has all those water problems. But Afghanistan has never been invaded. Afghanistan is considered the death of empires, and because of this, I'll put Afghanistan A. Antigua and Barbuda is just a tiny island. There's no real geography to Antigua and Barbuda. Albania, but Albania is a small country. It's a small little dot on Europe, and the Balkans, are not really united. Like they're not really a united area. Same thing with Armenia. Like Armenia is just a small little country smashed between three great, big, massive countries. So they're not F tier material, but Angola, I gotta put them in C tier. They do have oil, but Angola is the geography of Angola is not pretty good. It's mostly just jungle, you know, which is pretty easy to defend. But the problem is, Angola is a pretty weak country. So, Argentina, of course, this country will be S tier. Argentina has a very similar geography to the United States. It has a lot of arable land. The only problem is Argentina had a very, very high corruption, and it's basically the mirror of the United States. If the United States was poor, third world country, it would be Argentina. That's all we have to say about it. Austria, they do have a lot of mountains, but they're not really the most geography advantaged country. They're not a big country, you know. In history, they were able to project the power out very quick, easily. And that was mostly because Germany wasn't united. And, Austria was able to have power. Australia, of course, has very good geography. Mostly desert, a large area. Australia is, it's a country we want to invade. But the problem, I think, okay, Australia is an S tier geography because Australia, most of its people live on the coast. But Australia has a lot of natural resources. It's a very developed country, and it's a very military powerful country for being such a small country. So, Azerbaijan, put them right next to Armenia. Again, yes, Azerbaijan has a big population, has some oil reserves, but it's still smashed between those three huge countries. Barbados, again, F tier, just an island. Nothing really special. Bosnia and Herzegovina, again, a D tier country. Balkan countries are going to mostly appear in the D tier. Okay. Again, it has a very little coastline, and there isn't really, like, what screams good geography? Bosnia and Herzegovina does not it does not say good geography. Next is Bangladesh, it's F tier, okay? Literally, it's like a low line plain. Yes, it's a very densely populated country, but that's not a very good thing because it's not a very developed country as well. And also, Bangladesh is a very, very low lying country, which means rising sea levels will basically like kill Bangladesh. Like it's often the meme that Bangladesh has terrible geography. And also, it's completely surrounded by India, which is a much more bigger and populated country with nuclear weapons. Next is Belgium. Do I have to explain why Belgium has terrible geography? Moving on. Burkina Faso again. It's a gigantic desert. No one lives in this country. It's a giant desert country. Doesn't really have much natural resources either. Okay, I think it does. African countries have a lot of natural, but again, it's mostly desert. There's not really any oil. This country just has a city geography overall. Okay, next is Bulgaria. Well, Bulgaria has decent geography, way better than Bosnia and Herzegovina. It has coastline, it has some natural resources. Bahrain, I think this is Bahrain, detail. It's a small island in the Middle East that has a lot of oil and natural gas. It's also very wealthy. So Burundi, FTL, it's a landlocked country. It doesn't have a lot of resources, and it's usually the poorest country in Africa. So Benin, again, a tiny country, doesn't really have a lot of geographical advantages, and yeah. Next is Brunei. It's a small country completely surrounded by Malaysia. Malaysia is the only country border that doesn't have any people. And yeah, next is Bolivia. Upper Bolivian Sea. It's mostly like a mountainous country, so it kind of be like Switzerland. It'll be a very easy country to defend as well, but it doesn't really have a lot of people living in it. Next is Brazil. Of course, Brazil, I think, would be an FSTL country. Not Brazil and FTL. Brazil has a lot of arable land. It also has the Amazon rainforest, which is, no one wants to fight in the jungle, okay? Bahamas, of course, FTL geography. It's just islands. No one lives on the Bahamas. Like, 300,000 people only live in the Bahamas. Bhutan, like, people will overrate this country, okay? Yes, Bhutan has very inaccessible mountains, but guess what also Bhutan has? No people. So I'm going to put Bhutan. Okay, because Bhutan is mostly like the Himalayas, I'm going to put it in CTL. That's reasonable. Botswana. Botswana doesn't have very good geography. It does have diamonds, and that's it. It doesn't have a lot of natural resources. It's just desert. Yeah. This is Belarus. Yeah, Belarus is pretty bad. FTL it is. Belarus is just like, how it is. You know how Nebraska and Kansas is? That's basically Belarus, okay? Because I know most people who watch these videos are Americans. So, Belize. Belize is completely surrounded by Mexico and Guatemala. It's just a country that nobody even talks about. Like, no one lives in Belize. Like, this is a country that, yeah, FTL geography right there. Canada, I'll put it in BTL. It's pretty cold. But, again, okay, Russia has taught us all too well, that winter is a bitch, okay? It is going to be very, okay, and also, Canada borders basically its greatest ally, which is the United States, so Canada has the protection of the United States, and also has that winter if let's just say China invades Canada for some reason, or India, okay, winter is going to be a bitch, and also the United States will come to defend Canada, because they're a member of NATO, okay, Canada has the easy way. Next is, the DRC. Oh, the DRC. DRC has pretty decent geography. Okay, it has a lot of natural resources. It has a lot of, minerals and, resources. But the country doesn't really have much of a coast. The country's lines were basically drawn by the Belgians, which was, like, just awful borders. Central African Republic, detail, nothing really too special. Congo, Brazzaville, but with the other Congo. It makes a lot of sense. Next is Switzerland. Yeah, Switzerland's here. Switzerland's ATL. Switzerland is basically like a giant fortress. If they made a giant fortress and it was a country, that would be Switzerland. Switzerland's a very hard and difficult country to defeat in wars. So yeah, next is this. I think this is. Oh, this is Ivory Coast. Okay, Ivory Coast is going in detail. Again, African countries don't really have very good geography. It's mostly jungle, savanna. There is one country in Africa that has good geography. I don't hate African countries. No. Chile? Well, Chile is mostly wrong. Chile has pretty good geography. I put it in BTL. Most South American countries, like, they have very good geography, if you really think about it. Like, especially in a war. Chile is mostly behind the mountain range, okay? The only way to invade Chile is probably through navally. Because you can't invade Chile through land. Because you have to invade them through the mountains. You have to invade them through the Andes. Okay? There is one like Choco, but they can just 300 it, so. Next is Cameroon again, and Cameroon has terrible geography. Okay? So always a common theme with these African countries is terrible geography. Next is China. Of course, China is S tier geography. There's a reason why China has so many people. That's all I have to say. Okay, how China is able to feed so many people throughout all of history. Okay, China is has sea to one side, the Korean Peninsula it says way less population, tundra to the north, and has mountains and completely surrounding it from all the big countries. And then to the south, there are a bunch of like Greek countries that are not very important, to China, but like in terms of like if they declare war, Colombia has pretty good geography. There's its capital is pretty well defended. It's not on the coastline. It's in the mountains, which is actually a very good strategic spot to defend it. So Colombia has pretty good geography. Costa Rica, its geography doesn't even have a military. Okay, detail is Costa Rica. Next is Cuba. Cuba is an island. Island geography is usually pretty good, but Cuba isn't really that amazing. Considering the fact that it's very near a very large country, which is the United States. If the United States was like 25 different countries, then yes, Cuba would have amazing geography because island geography is very easy to defend. Let's ask Britain and Japan. Next is Cape Verde, again, small, unpopulated islands. Unlike Cuba, no one lives in the Cape Verde. So, same thing with Cyprus, it's a very easy country to invade and defeat. Czech Republic does have some mountains, and it's, like, at the very edge of its country, like some small mountains. I'll give it a C tier. Germany, of course, Germany is, like, the powerhouse of Europe, but most of Germany's land is very flat. But Germany's geography is pretty perfect because, it only borders two countries that are of any worth or value. Like, I'm not worth of value. Like, countries that are actually like threats to Germany. Two countries that are actually threats to Germany is Poland, which again has half the population, and of course France. France is the only country Germany really has to worry about, as Italy is blocked out by two other countries. The northern countries are not too powerful. And Russia, well, there's a country called Poland in between Germany and Russia that's practically a buffer state at this point. Also, there's Belarus as well, but no one talks about Belarus. But yeah, I decided to put Germany in the A tier. It also has a lot of very developed country. It has a lot of industry as well. So there we go. Next country is Djibouti. People also, Djibouti doesn't have a lot of population, but Djibouti is a very strategic country, okay? Because, if a country is allied with Djibouti, they have, Djibouti is kind of like because you have Somalia, which doesn't exist, and Eritrea, which is basically North Korea. So if you want to have a footing in, like, the Horn of Africa, well, Djibouti is the only option. Okay, because Djibouti is the only stable country in that continent. So basically, if you're friends with Djibouti, you would want to keep this country alive simply because, this country is a strategically important country. So yes, I put in C tier because no one lives in Djibouti, but people often understate the strategic importance of Djibouti. Denmark owns Greenland, but Greenland doesn't really compensate for much. So, it's a small country, it borders Germany, which, again, Germany just destroyed Denmark in a day. So, next country is Dominica. I don't have to talk about that one. Dominican Republic. Well, Dominican Republic is more developed than Haiti. So, we could, I guess it must have better geography than Haiti. So, next is Algeria. What do we rank Algeria? Algeria is mostly desert and mountains. It also has the Mediterranean climate in the north, which most people live there. I think Algeria is B tier. It's pretty good geography-wise. You have the Mediterranean climate, you have the mountains you can defend in the guerrilla warfare. Same thing with the deserts as well. Next is Ecuador. Oh, it's not. It's C tier. Estonia, it's D tier. It's a small country. Egypt. Well, Egypt, I'm not putting it any higher than D tier. Yes, Egypt is a very important country historically wise. But the problem is, Egypt is completely dependent on the Nile River. So, Egypt has pretty poor geography. Compared to, like, Algeria, they're not dependent on a river. and areas north of the Atlas Mountains. The Atlas Mountains makes northern Algeria more habitable, but Egypt basically just rely on one river, which means if a certain country that starts with an E dams the river, well, Egypt is screwed. Completely. 100% screwed. Eritrea, well, it's detail. Next country is Spain. Spain has pretty good geography. They have blocked off by the mountains. They have Morocco to the south, which is still, they have a sea, but they still have the Mediterranean. They still have the Gibraltar between them. And also, the only country that Spain has to really worry about is Portugal, which they're way smaller than them. And also Morocco, which, again, they only border through two small enclaves, exclaves of. Now, yeah, Spain is pretty good. Now, here we go. Here's the country. Here's the country. I think the African country with the best geography. Okay, not Angola. And what was Ethiopia? Ethiopia, I think, is STL. Okay, Ethiopia is probably the best geography in the entire continent of Africa. And of course, I'm not being biased at all, but yeah, it's obviously because Ethiopia is mostly in the mountains. Very similar to Colombia, but Ethiopia, it is basically, Italy had to really use chemical weapons against Ethiopia to beat them. Yes, literally, they had the seat to win against Ethiopia. That's, like, Italy tried to invade them in the colonial wars, but it failed because Ethiopia just guarded the mountains. And yeah, it would be a very hard country to invade simply because of that. And also, Ethiopia has a lot of people, over 100 million people. So you also have to deal with a lot of people. So Ethiopia is a very populated mountainous country. It's basically Switzerland on steroids, basically. Ethiopia does have that, desert part of the country, but the area where almost all the population lives is the mountains. So next country is Finland. No country I think people really sleep on is Finland. Okay, Finland was able to defend itself against Russia. I'll put in BTO. Yeah. Next country is Fiji. It's just an island. Okay, this Michael needs the same thing. An island. Okay, did we miss any country? Okay, that's France is next. So of course, there's tons of videos why France has like the perfect geography. So don't have to really talk all too much about France's geography. Okay, you have mountains to the south. You have mountains to the east. You have ocean to the west, and Britain to the north. This is still separated by ocean, and the only real weak point is through the Benelux region. So, yeah, that's France's geography in a nutshell. Gabon is detailed. No one even lives in Gabon. Okay, no one even lives in Gabon. Next is the UK. Of course, that's like with France. The UK is STL. Okay, there's a reason why England was never conquered since like the Viking era, because England is very, very much a wall. They have a wall of ocean protecting them. Okay, England has historically had some of the best navies in the history of the world. Okay, like for example, Cuba was like the UK. It had a lot of people and had a very good navy. Cuba would be okay. Cuba, I think it's gonna play be in B tier. Same thing with Dominican Republic, because the ocean is a very big barrier. Unlike these small worthless tiny island nations that have like two people. Okay, Britain's like a large, massive island. Okay, it's gonna be very hard to invade a country like the UK because the UK can literally just defend with its navy. That's all they need. They don't have to worry about land invasions. Britain has had for the longest time, for like hundreds of years, had one of the best navies in the world until the USA took them over, and then China, then India, then all these other countries did. But Britain still has one of the biggest and most successful navies in the world. Grenada, don't care. Georgia, well, they'll be waiting to the brothers here. Okay. Next is Ghana. We'll be ranking them with the Ivory Coast, which is over here. Gambia, there's just a freaking river. Okay, literally the most pointless country in all of existence. Guinea, again, DTL. We have France again. I think that's like one of the islands of France. Equatorial Guinea, literally an island in a small little area on the mainland Africa. Greece, okay, Greece actually has pretty good geography. Greece has a lot of mountains. and also has a border with Turkey, which is easily defendable as well. And also Greece was like one of the most important countries in history. So yeah, I think Greece is CTO, not DTO, but CTO, because again, Greece's geographical advantage has kind of eroded over time. Guatemala, again, not really much of a geography now. So Guinea-Bissau, don't even have to explain this country in detail. FTL was reserved for the truly bad geographical countries. Guyana, yeah, Guyana is FTL. Oh, actually, Guyana got a buff. They got oil, so I'll put them in CTL. They got a buff in the past 10 years in the geography. They discovered a lot of oil, but they still don't have a lot of population, so I'll put them in DTL as well. Next country is it's Australia again, Honduras again. Put them with Guatemala. Central American countries don't really have big good geography. Haiti, of course, we had to eventually get to Haiti. Okay, yeah, Haiti's FTL. Haiti is, yeah, it's Haiti. Croatia, it's a D. It's a Balkan country. Balkan countries don't really have very good geography. And Croatia is basically split in like half. So basically, someone takes like the north half of the country. It'll be very easy because you can easily split the country in half. So it's not very good geography wise. So next country is Hungary. Okay, Hungary again, same thing with some of these other countries. It's a D C tier country, you know. As well. Okay, now we're getting some big countries here. But this is Indonesia. I think this is Indonesia. Indonesia I've put in CTL. Okay, Indonesia is an island archipelago. But I think the problem is Indonesia could be spread too thin because they have so many islands they have to defend. It's not like Japan where it's like everything is close together, or the UK where everything is like one island, focus on the main island. Okay, yes, Java can be easily protected by Indonesia, but the problem is, what about the other islands? Okay, it'd be pretty hard to protect Borneo and Sumatra, so I put them in CTL. Some people even said that Indonesia has some of the worst geography, so we'll balance it out and put it at CTL. Israel, yeah, Israel has D tier geography. Okay, all the countries like ported it, hate it, so I think that's already pretty bad enough for Israel. So, you know, next is India. Yes, India. Again, India, the reason why India has so many people, because, India is a very big, massive country. To the north, you have mountains, whereas, you have Pakistan, which, again, is way weaker. Yes, Pakistan does have nuclear weapons, but India also has nuclear weapons. And most of the countries to the other side are very weak, like Myanmar, and Bangladesh. And in the north, you have Nepal and Bhutan and China through the Himalayas. And Himalayas basically protect India from any invasion from the north, which means you only have to worry about the east and the west, which, only country you have to really worry about is Pakistan and Iran. But either way, it'll be very easy to defend because India has way more people than Pakistan. So, Pakistan, we'll get to Pakistan. And next is Iraq. Yeah, Iraq is constantly memed as like the worst geography in the world. Okay, it's. Do I really have to explain why Iraq has some of the worst? Okay, Iraq is not that bad. Okay, Iraq is C tier. Okay, Iraq is not that bad. Okay, it has a river. It was basically where civilization started. So we won't whack on Iraq that much. Okay, next is Iran. Oh yes, Iran. It's very similar to Ethiopia. Okay, Iran is one of the most important countries in history because no one could defeat Iran. No one could defeat Persia. No one could defeat all of the Persian empires. Okay, Iran was basically almost never invaded throughout most of its history, or not invaded, defeated. Okay, no one could invade and defeat Iran. Not the British Empire. Not any of the empires from like the Middle East or Turkey. Or Rome could invade Iran. No one could defeat this country. This was an unbeatable country. Okay, it was like Ethiopia. No one can defeat Iran. Okay, Iran is STL 100%. They're like the unbeatable. The next is Iceland. Okay, Iceland has a C tier because no one gives a crap about Iceland. What's there on Iceland? Okay, Iceland is no one lives in Iceland. No one cares about Iceland. So Iceland is C tier. Okay, who would invade Iceland? What benefits would you get? Italy is a country that if you talk about like 1080 no BC, okay, India would have S tier geography, but it is still pretty good geography if you want to control the Mediterranean. But once the world has been opened up more in the Mediterranean, Italy's geographic advantages don't really seem as great because yes, you could control the Mediterranean, but the Mediterranean is not the world. So yeah. So, but Italy still has pretty good defenses. You have the Alps to the north, which means you don't have to worry about that. The Balkans, to the east, and France to the west. So yeah. As well, next country is Jamaica. Jamaica's DTL. Jordan, again, it's a Middle Eastern country. It's desert. Do I need to say more for Jordan? Ireland. I'll put Ireland in the same tier as Iceland. The only problem is, there's one country that has always taken over Ireland, and that's the UK. So, next is Japan. And yeah, Japan is very similar to the UK. No one was ever able to conquer Japan. Okay, Japan is very isolated. So, yeah, Japan was able to stay isolated for centuries because of that. Okay, Japan was able to stay outside from the outside world for centuries, and also if the USA invaded Japan, like actually had to invade Japan and actually like take them over, it would have cost millions of troops if they didn't drop the bomb. So yeah, Japan is so strong that you had the only two nuclear bombs ever used against another country were used on Japan. Where it's probably similar to the UK. Japan can easily defend the country through the navy. It's an easy country to defend. The thing is, Japan doesn't have a lot of natural resources. It kind of is dependent on other countries, kind of like the UK. But Japan can basically hold their own in a massive war, because it's an island nation. They can easily defend with the military, especially if the U.S. comes to the aid with the massive navy. Well, Japan is basically protected right there. So next is Kenya. Kenya isn't as bad as the other countries in Africa, so I'll put them in CTL. So Kyrgyzstan is FTL. What's there in Kyrgyzstan? Kiribati is FTL. Yeah, Comoros is FTL. Saint Kitts and Nevis is FTL. Okay, now I'll get to the next country. Cambodia. They're CTL. They're a small country in like Southeast Asia. That's all really it is. So it's also okay. It's DTL. It's surrounded by two much bigger countries. So yeah, Cambodia is not that big. And then we have the Koreas, both of them. Okay, well, which Korea has better geography? North Korea has more mountains, but it does border China. As well, where would both of the Korea? Okay, Korea doesn't really have a bad geography. The only problem is there was a very big country to the north of it called China, which was able to actually dominate Korea for a long time because of its much more bigger population. Korea and CTL, I think, makes sense, both of them. Okay, they are very similar. Both countries have very similar geography. Kuwait, it's a small country in the Middle East, so it's DTL. Next country is Kazakhstan. Okay, Kazakhstan is CTL. It's a big, massive country, but no one lives in Kazakhstan, so it's a big, massive steppe country. It's also very flat, so it's very easy to invade, but it's not that bad. Okay, it's CTL. It is. Laos is DTL. I don't even have to explain Laos's geography or lack of geography. Next is Lebanon. Lebanon is also DTL. Yeah, we're going through all the small countries very quickly. St. Lucia, FTL. Liechtenstein, again. It's a freaking micro-state, okay? Switzerland invaded by accident. Okay? Next is Sri Lanka. It's an island nation, but does border. It is by India, so I'm gonna put it in CTO. Okay, let's move up a few countries. Arab Emirates will move it up to CTL. And move up Egypt to CTL, and we'll move a few countries to BTL. So Bhutan will move up to BTL. We'll move Indonesia to BTL, and we'll move up Greece. Okay, there we go. We made the list more better as well. So there you go. Next is Liberia. Again, I'm not gonna explain it for the 50 millionth time. Lesotho, completely started by South Africa. Lithuania, just like with Latvia, it's a small country that borders Russia. That could basically destroy in any moment. Luxembourg, I have to even explain. It's a small country in the Benelux region. Latvia will go with its politics. What is? Oh, here's the country. I'm gonna tell you, it's Libya, everyone's favorite country. Yeah, Libya is just desert. Okay, it does have oil, so we'll put it in detail. So next is Monaco. So it's a small city. Moldova is F tier 2. Montenegro, it's a small country, so it's F tier as well. That's a friend. Oh, we've got Morocco. Okay, Morocco, I'll put it in B tier of Algeria. It has a way better climate than like Mauritania, but in Tunisia they have probably the best geography in North Africa. So I'll put it with Algeria, very similar. So Madagascar, well, it is an island. I'll give Madagascar that one sole geographic advantage. But Madagascar isn't a very developed country. But I think if it did develop like the UK, it would be a very easy country to defend. So I'll put it in V tier because it does have a lot of potential to be. It's a very easy country to defend if yeah. Next is Maui. I think this country. Oh yeah, Maui. Oh yeah, detail. The way you have to explain this. Okay, we'll put by Burkina Faso. Okay. Yeah. Next country is Mauritania. Yeah, Mauritania is F tier as well. Myanmar. Okay. Marshall Islands is F tier, but North Macedonia is a small country. Oh, it's just like okay, it's F tier too. Well, Macedonia. This country it just pretends to like be Greek, and like if no one thought they were Greece or could notice. Next is Myanmar. It's a C tier geography. It has like a lot of mountains and stuff, but it is basically sandwiched between both India and China. So next is Mongolia. Well, do I even have to explain Mongolia's terrible geography? Malta. Well, again, it is an island, but no one lives on Malta, so it has that very big disadvantage. Oh, we have some heavy hitters. Mauritius is not one of them. Pacific Malawi. We have Mexico. This is a very Mexico is a very strange country. Okay, I'll put it in C tier because Mexico is some pretty horrendous geography. Okay, there's a reason why the USA is rich and Mexico isn't because Mexico's geography is like horrendous. Okay, it does have like that plateau it could defend itself in, but like Mexico really put its capital city and then destroyed the entire lake for some stupid dumbass reason. Okay, that's like how the Soviets destroyed the ROC for some weird reason as well. Okay, and then we have most of Mexico is like desert too, so it's not like Colombia where you have to go for like jungles to actually get to the capital. So next is Malaysia. The problem with Malaysia's geography is that Malaysia is just mostly a peninsula. Well, it is basically surrounded, but it's mostly like jungle. It's also a very strategic country, so I'll put it in BTL. Next is Mozambique. Again, African geography, I'll put it in CTL, just to be kind to Mozambique. Next is Namibia. Well, it is a desert and no one lives in it. I think that's the only advantage this country really gets. Next is Niger. Yeah, this country has some of the absolute worst geography in the world. Okay, This country is gonna have so many problems in the future, and they were projecting this country to have 200 million people. Yeah, and a country well has very little arable land and has no natural resources. Yeah, yeah, very great planning. Nigeria, well, Nigeria. The problem with Nigeria is it has too it's too densely populated, like India. Okay, it's not good, and even like they revised but there's a reason why Nigeria has so many people. It's because it's the well, it has the best like river. It has like some very great rivers that like end in Nigeria, and it has a lot of arable land for a country like Nigeria. So I put in BTL. Okay. Next is Nicaragua, the Illuminati country. Okay. Yeah, I keep calling Nicaragua the Illuminati country, and I won't stop today. So the Illuminati, they do have the canal thing, the giant lake they're trying to build, but they didn't actually build it, so it's DTL. Okay, how many more countries do we have left? Okay, next country is Maldives or FTL. Okay, Maldives freaking island countries are probably to sink under the water anyway. So next is Norway. Norway actually has pretty good geography, even though no one lives in Norway, because Norway is pretty much protected by the sea and mountains. So it'll be an ATL. So next country is the Netherlands. So the Netherlands is actually quite underappreciated for its geography. Yes, it's very flat, but the Netherlands is basically protecting itself against the evils known as the sea. So I'll put Netherlands and BTL. And like Belgium. Who instantly put Belgium in BTL? Like, why does Belgium even exist? It's just, that's the real questions that keep me up at night. Why does Belgium exist? Nepal? Well, Nepal has pretty bad geography. It is mostly mountains, but it is sandwiched between 2 billion populated countries. So, next country is Oman. Yeah, Oman has pretty decent geography. They were able to, in the past, expand past their geographical barriers here. Next is Panama. Okay, Panama does have one big thing going for it, and that is the Panama Canal. So it's very similar to Djibouti. Well, it isn't a very strong country, but if you control the Panama Canal, you do control a lot of trade. So it's a country that's known. It's basically kind of like the Panama is the example of like playing tall in this world, in the modern world. So next country is New Zealand. So, New Zealand has pretty decent geography because it's an island country. So, of course, it's gonna be very, very difficult to invade as well. So, I'm gonna put in BTL. Not as great as Australia. So, and also, no one knows what New Zealand is. So, next is Peru. Okay, Peru has pretty interesting geography. So, it's mostly very similar to Colombia. So, we could put it right by Colombia. We could put it right by with Colombia and the BTL as well here. Might actually bump up Australia to ATL. Okay, we'll bump up Australia to ATL so we can have more ATL countries. Okay, next country, Pakistan. Okay, no, it's Papua New Guinea. Okay, Papua New Guinea's geography is pretty terrible. They don't even get the full island. Okay, they had to freaking sail the border of Indonesia. Indonesia has way more population than Papua New Guinea. Okay, it's a pretty city situation all around. So they do have pretty birds though. Next is the oh, here we go. Okay, Philippines has a bunch of islands, but come on, Philippines is the worst weather on the planet. Okay, it has the absolute worst weather on the planet. Like, it's often a meme at this point. It has all the volcanic eruptions, it has all the earthquakes, it has all the typhoons. It's basically the border of Asia. So, okay, Philippines is not DTL. It's not Georgia level. So I'll put it in CTL. Next is Paru. Do we even have to freaking explain Paru? It's like one small island. Okay. Next is Pakistan. Oh yeah, here we go with Pakistan. Yeah, Pakistan has some pretty terrible geography. It's mostly desert. Most of its population lives alongside like a river, so it's not and it's very densely populated, but Pakistan has like a lot of food insecurities that's gonna have to address in its future. So next is Palestine. Well, Palestine is not a real country, so it's okay. Okay, I don't want to piss off the Palestine people, but yeah, Palestine is yeah doesn't really have much of a geography. So yeah, so next country is Portugal. So Portugal, I'll put it in C tier because they only have to really worry about Spain, and they kept the same border for like 1,000 years. So Portugal is pretty fine. So next is Poland. Well, this country is like memed down to death. So yeah, Poland got effed by Russia and Germany so many times in its history, it isn't even funny. So next is Paraguay. Yeah, Paraguay has like crap geography. It's no one lives in Paraguay. So next is Cortal. It's again all it really has going for it is oil, and that's it. So next country. Okay, that's not a French flag. How many French flag countries are there? Next is Romania. Well, the home of the vampires. Okay, what do we rank Romania? BTO. Okay, no, not BTO, CTO. Okay, we're getting to some big countries here. So next is Serbia. Remove kebab. Well, kebab will not be removed because Serbia doesn't have that great geography. It is better than most Balkan countries. Okay, Romania is BTO. So now we're getting to Russia. Okay, Russia's geography is good and bad. Okay, first of all, you cannot defeat Russia. Okay, Russia has a lot of nuclear weapons, and also Russia has its greatest ally, winter. Okay, Russia also has a lot of arable land as well. Russia has actually like the second highest arable land, I think, behind China. So, or I think it's behind China or America as well. Where it's again, and also Russia has the winter. So it has its grueling, awful winters. So you know, next country is Rwanda. What geography does Rwanda even have? Okay, Rwanda is in detail. At least it's able to develop better than Burundi, but it doesn't really have. You know, I know it's a common theme. Most of these countries in Africa have really crappy geography. You can mostly thank the Europeans for that. But next is Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Saudi Arabia has no water. Okay, there is literally not a single river in Saudi Arabia. So, it's DTL. Next country is Solomon Islands, FTL, Seychelles, FTL, and okay, wait, what's Seychelles? Seychelles the STL flag, but FTL geography. It's a small island. Um, Next is Sweden. Sweden historically is a pretty good geographically country. I'll put it with its brother Finland. So yeah, Sweden has pretty good geography. Now getting into some big countries. Singapore is such a city. So yeah, next is Slovenia. Um, Slovenia is no, it's a small, tiny country. Okay, Sierra Leone is freaking FTL. San Marino surrounded by Italy. Senegal. Okay, this is an interesting one. Senegal is DTL. Somalia. Oh, do we have? Forget this. Okay, Somalia has so much potential, but then there's no government. So FTL Somalia. Same to be Somalia. Next is FTL for Sao Tome. Suriname, well, Suriname also doesn't have very good. Actually, Suriname is mostly jungle, but no one lives in Suriname, so it's DTL. So, next country is Slovakia. Slovakia. Yeah, Slovakia is in NATO, but Slovakia is one of the countries that's always been controlled by another country. So, next is El Salvador. we're gonna explore the other Central American countries in detail. Next is Eswatini FTL. Syria. Okay, Syria is pretty okayest geography. Not really the best in the world, but I'm gonna put it in BTO. Okay, Philippines is okay. Philippines. Okay, you guys win. Korea is not CTO. You guys win. Korea and Mexico are not CTO. They're BTO. Okay. Next country is South Sudan. Well, South Sudan is an extension of Sudan's problems. So, DTO. Okay, is there any countries that can move up a tier and DTO? No, not really. Okay. Next is Chad. Not Romania. This is not Romania. Okay, we already went over Romania. Yeah, Chad is an FTO. I like the country's name, but you gotta be real with me, okay? You know, it's just desert, dude. So, Tajikistan is FTO. Togo is where there's a small, like, thing in Africa. So, Timor Leste FTO. Turkmenistan FTO. Turkmenistan's yeah. Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan have often considered the worst geography in the world. Same thing with Tonga. Like, it's just an island next to Tunisia. Tunisia will be in C tier, not as great as the other countries. Okay, okay, I'll move Belgium and Jordan outside of FTL. Okay, I make fun of Belgium too much. Okay, no, Belgium deserves to be in FTL. Okay, okay, next is Turkey. Getting to the end here. Of course, Turkey is notorious for its amazing geography. It's a very strategically important country. Okay, now, do I put in eight? Still no, not really. Okay, no. It's almost S tier, but I think one more country is really deserving to be S tier. Next country is Tuvalu and Trinidad and Tobago. Oh yes, F tier and F tier. Okay, they're islands. Okay, these countries can be easily conquered by any strong navy. So next is Thailand. Thailand has pretty decent geography, all things considered. Oh, we haven't gone to the goats of the two other ones that I think are gonna be STL. So Thailand is BTL. Yes, Thailand is BTL. Vatican City FTL. Uzbekistan FTL. We're getting all the FTLs out of the way. St. Vincent and Grenadines FTL. Okay. Kosovo is also FTL. Okay. This country is FTL. That's another island country. And Vanuatu is FTL, even though they do have a pretty dope flag. So let's get all the rest of the countries up here. Okay. The United States, Uganda, Tanzania, Taiwan, Vietnam, Yemen, South Africa, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Oh, and I forgot about Ukraine and Venezuela as well. So these are the last countries that are of any importance. Next is Uruguay. I'll put Uruguay in detail. It's a small country surrounded by two bigger countries. Not the most fortunate. Do I even have to explain America? There's tons of videos about how America had the greatest geography on Earth. So they're going to be at the very, very top of STL. Okay. I'll put China at number 2, Britain at number 3, India at number 4, Ethiopia, Brazil here, Argentina here, France here, and Japan here at the bottom. Makes sense. Next is Uganda again. Uganda's just like jungles, and that's it. Nothing. What was it? I promise Africa's geography is mostly like it's flat. Tanzania does have a decent amount of population, so I'll put it in C tier. Next is Taiwan. Taiwan is CTL. Not a big country because it only has like 20 million people. It's a very densely populated country, but China would basically destroy Taiwan and like very quickly. So, next is Vietnam. Oh yes, we all know the memes of Vietnam, okay? Oh no, Vietnam is another unbeatable country. Okay, China has tried to conquer Vietnam like a billion times and they have failed. So I'm not quite S tier. Okay, I think we are done with the S tier countries. Next is Yemen. Yemen is another one of those countries. Okay, I'll put it up here. Okay, then we have the rest of the countries. So South Africa, it's a very strategic country because it's along like a very important trade route. So I'm gonna put South Africa and BTL. Zambia, horrible flag, horrible country, and horrible geography. So Zimbabwe, well, Zimbabwe is landlocked country in Africa, so it's B. Next is Ukraine. Yeah, all African countries are literally the same geography. Like Africa is, like Africa has a lot of biodiversity, but Africa doesn't have a lot of variety in like geography. So Ukraine I put in BTL because they have a lot of arable land, and okay, they're mostly like flat, so they'll put them in CTL. And last is Venezuela, and we'll put Venezuela and CTL. So that's it for ranking the countries in the geography video. Please tell me how I'm wrong in the comments. Goodbye.